Hi, this is Dennis Black, and this is the first in a series of 3 professional selling sessions provided for quality realtors in today's market in 2024, heading into 2025. As we have done a series of seminars throughout the country, 2 critical topics continue to pop up that we will address over our next 3 sessions. The first one is when you're interacting with a buyer and seller, how to really control the conversation. We will share with you the 5 vowels of selling and how to utilize them during a conversation with a potential customer. Our second session will focus on an issue that many people really get confused about, the fact that you're selling to a customer, not to yourself. We'll describe critical things to do to avoid this challenge. And finally, we're going to look at how do you differentiate yourself from other agents as you finish this year heading into next year. Addressing our first topic, the 5 vowels of selling, let's look at each one of them and what they mean. A is for awareness. Our job during a discussion with a potential buyer or seller is to be totally aware of their issues, their concerns, and challenges, whether they're going to be listing their property with us or buying a home as we represent them. Therefore, it is important to do a quality needs analysis and remember the mentality of what occurs when you're gathering information from your customer. 2 general principles always apply. The one who gathers the most information usually wins the conversation. The one who gives the most usually loses. Now, that is not ultimate defeat or victory. It's control of the dialogue. So the mindset you need to carry as a professional when you sell to a buyer or seller is always remember this critical phrase. Think question first, statement second. Then you'll gather the issues from your client and you're totally aware of why they're engaging in a real estate transaction. The E stands for evaluation. This is when you bring in your trusted lending partner to do one of 2 things. A critical pre-qualification to make sure the client can truly afford the properties that you're showing them on the buy side. And on the sell side, your awareness of the community and the proper price points that the seller should be looking to gain from the sale of their home. Too many people value their property way higher than the reality of what it truly is. That's the nature of anyone who owns their home. It's a pride in their property, and they really want to get top dollar. Our job is to educate them as to what will move based on comparables and your knowledge of the community and the true price per square foot that's relative to their home. On the buy side, making sure your lender gets involved early, in particular if the buyer is self-employed, is critical in your success of the evaluation process. I stands for inquiry. This is when you, as a realtor, ask the buyer or seller this critical question, which should never be overlooked in any interview you have with a potential customer. What is the criteria you will use to choose a realtor to represent you on this transaction? Once you understand what they're evaluating, and in particular, a move-up client who's been through the process 2, 3, 4 times, they know what they're looking for. A first-time home buyer, you can guide them as to the criteria they should be evaluating, and of course, that should be in your areas of your strength. Never recommend it in the discussion to the buyer or seller areas you're not as proficient in. O is for ownership, and this is when you gather all the information in those 3 previous areas. You've taken notes during your conversation with your potential customer, and now you're going to do a recap. And make sure you use the client's words in response to your questions in your needs analysis awareness portion. And now you understand what's important to them and you summarize the key critical points they shared with you in your discussion. And make sure as you're doing it, you're using their words that they gave you back to them. Therefore, they own it. They stated it. You're summarizing it. These are the points that were discussed, which lead to them choosing a realtor to work with. And finally, the U stands for utilization. We don't engage in all the previous 4 vowels, not to ask for acceptance and to move forward, to enter into a buyer or seller agreement. That's the purpose of our job. It isn't to have a discussion and not ask for acceptance. Utilization is when you ask the client to start to work with you as a professional realtor. This is a critical component because you do all the work of your research, getting an appointment, doing multiple showings, working with people to try and get them to agree to work with you, and you've got to get them to utilize your services. None of us want to work and not be used or utilized. We want to be worked with to use our services to be a professional agent moving forward. And from a successful client, you get repeat business. Always remember, as an agent, the 5 vowels of selling. For further information on other programs we offer, feel free to reach out to me at dennis@dennisblack.com or call me at 760-801-2777. Good luck and good selling.